No idea what the fuck you're going to talk about. Look at you.
I have no idea what we're doing this week.
Disappointment.
I've got nothing.
Maybe we should talk about disappointment.
Oh.
I'm disappointed in you.
Now, don't say that into the thing. I'm going to hear that and I'm going to get real sad.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it.
Listen, just don't ask questions, but like something for me for later. Can you just put on like a different voice than yours and just say, I'm proud of you, son, into the thing?
No, I don't think I can.
You can't do that for me?
I'm proud of you, son.
Oh, that's going to get me through next week.
Oh man, I don't have a dad.
Me neither.
Anyway, yeah, but you did for a little bit.
I did for a while. I had like most of a dad for some time. So like,
but this can't turn into the episode where they talk about dads. So that'd be really bad.
Oh God.
What were we gonna talk about that one time?
What?
It's
real late, y'all. So we missed our original filming day because I had classes going on and finals, and now it's really late at night on an off day. Oh, we're both feeling weird.
Did you go to school?
Yeah, I'm in grad school. You know what you asked me, like it's going to start a conversation? Is that what your hope is? Because I don't know what the fuck we're going to talk about either.
School.
All right, let's talk about school.
No, school's for fools. I don't want to do it.
No, we'll save it for the podcast.
We're in the podcast right now.
I'm Forrest.
And I'm Ben.
And this is not, what was it called? I'm not comfortable with this.
Faster than you, which is not the name of the podcast. So you don't know what we're going to talk about. You don't have a topic.
I don't have a topic. You're real close to that microphone. You're going to get it. Look at that. Look at the sound. Oh, it's so late.
That's bad. Are you giving up?
No, we're doing this.
Are you giving up already?
We're doing this. At least for a few more episodes. I want to do this until we just don't, like, flat out, we both just, one day, it's a Monday night, and I'm calling you like, all right, are we on? And we're just, both of us just, hey, I don't want to do it. Thank God, I'm so happy you said that because I don't want to do it. And that's where we'll end the podcast. I want to do this until we just plain don't want to anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's not going to happen because, like, this is one of the only things that, like, I don't, like, have a problem doing.
No, I agree. I enjoy doing this podcast thoroughly. I'm not disliking it at all.
No, like I know it's probably not the best thing I've ever put out, and it's probably not the best thing I'm going to put out.
That's the hope.
But
like I want it to be...
It is something I look forward to.
I want it to be as fun for the audience as it is for us, and that's not possible if it's not fun for us. You know what I mean?
Well, the audience, I mean, they're a bunch of fucking folks. So...
Everybody was that close to unsubscribing, and they're like, "Ah, you know what? I can't argue with that." I am a folk.
They're a bunch of generic statement. Fucking, I don't know. Oh, you're drinking
tea.
Tea is good.
Delicious. So, a minute ago, you said the word school, and that's a thing that exists.
I don't want to talk about school, man.
We can't talk about the
public
education
system. I'm
system.
uncomfortable.
We're talking about it?
It's fine.
Off to a great start. So,
yeah, it's fine.
We've discussed before that I think we've talked about it on this, that like the whole point of university education is to make more college professors.
Yes, we did. Yeah, like probably very recently we talked about
I think so. I think it might have been last week.
It was.
By the way, last week I adjusted your microphone in the middle of the podcast and said I'll edit that out.
And you did not.
I did not. Yeah, I did. I thought about doing it, and I was like, you know what? It's more awkward and stupid if I just leave it in, and it's better. Anyway, so the whole thing, we were talking about higher education, public education. We can't say that the whole point of that is to make more teachers.
No, it's to make obedient workers.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The whole point is it's supposed to be to make, like, fully functioning, well-rounded adults. But clearly, that is not what's actually happening. That's not what you actually get out of a public education.
Box me into a conversation about public education. Is that what's happening here?
If you don't want to do it, we can change it. But, like, we're kind of just here now, and neither one of us have shit to talk about anyway. We're both very tired.
So you just, like, segue into public education.
You said a word, and I'm rolling with it.
Keep rolling with the word.
If you want to
There's so many problems with public education that we can't fix it with one podcast.
No, well, we can bitch about it for, like, an hour or so.
Ugh.
That's what people tune in for.
The tracking system.
Oh, I thought you were talking about, like, putting microchips in kids. I was into it.
Should.
The whole tracking system.
So you can find them.
Where you put, like, if you're a bad performing kid, they track you into different classes. Yeah, that's a huge problem. That's what happened to us. Because, like, there was no reason that I would be in the same class as the same 8 other kids as Ben. But it was because I had terrible grades and poor attendance, and I did a bad job because I didn't care about school when I was a kid.
Yeah, because we had, like, other problems going on.
Like our lives.
Yeah, it was weird.
But, like, yeah, we got tracked. We got put into certain classes, and that happens all the time. They track your performance, and they put you into different classes based on, like, how well you're doing. And so you'll notice that all the A+, the popular clique, all these kids, they all tend to be in the same class all the time because they get tracked together because they have the same similar performance. If you're tracked into poor classes, you're gonna get, you have bad teachers sometimes, you have, less resources are spent on you, you tend to do worse. And it's because of the way schools were set up for poor farmers to just get through it and to learn to move from place to place by the bell, show up to work on time, sit down and shut up and follow instructions, memorize information long enough to pass a test and then forget it next week. It's for factory workers. It's not a place for actually educating people anymore. There are a lot of really great educators out there that are trying to make it that. But the fact of the matter is...
The infrastructure of education is, like, built to do this
broken,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, so, like, it doesn't really matter, like, how much... Because we have... education has definitely come a long way, and you have, like, there's stuff going on in like, high schools everywhere that's really advanced compared to what it would have been, like, 60 years ago. Mm-hmm. But, also, it's still got the bones... It's kind of like any kind of systemic failure, I guess. It's still got the bones of the problem is still there. Because it's baked into it.
It's like no matter what you teach them, no matter what you give these kids, no matter what knowledge or wisdom you impart upon them, what's the main thing that they're learning? Out of everything, what percentage, what's the main thing that they're learning? Is that you don't question authority and you are powerless to change the situation that you're in, and now you're going to learn what we tell you. And I'm not saying that it's necessarily a bad thing to say that we have, like, a standard curriculum. I think that should be the case. I don't think that it's right that, we have different standards of education for different places, and if you happen to be born in Arkansas, then you're just not going to learn biology very well, and that's your fault because you were born here. You know what I mean? That kind of sucks. I'm all for standardizing education nationwide, and I think that there should be a high standard of what we teach. But I don't think it's right to just say... like, you now don't get to question anything. You have to listen to this. The point of education is learning how to ask questions, good questions. That should be the major focus, especially in science and history and, like, literature. You should be having provocative, interesting conversations, not just you said it, so now I do it on the test and then that's it.
Ooh, I don't know, Forrest. That might upset somebody.
I hope it does. If that's something that upsets somebody, I hope they get upset because they need to be.
Well, okay, so, like, what? So, okay. All right. So we're talking about education.
It seems to be the case.
So, like...
You're doing a great job. You're doing so good.
What? You what?
Go on. We're talking about education.
So like I said.
Yeah.
So like you were saying.
You said it and I said it. And now we're here.
Why are we?
And you were in the mic again. What's wrong with us?
We're doing a podcast. It's fine. I don't know. Maybe I got it too close. I can't sit comfortably. It's because it's fucking Wednesday.
And everything's fucked up now. This is episode 6. We can't be in this big of a fucking rut on episode 6.
You were like, you were all like, I don't have a topic, and I was like, it's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday, my dude.
It's
the
Wednesday,
podcast.
my dude. It's fucking hump day. And like education is a great topic, but there's so like, what do we even talk about?
How fucking
Like what you should do to fix it?
how about this? Is that I brought up Arkansas. You're just not going to learn biology very well. The reason why I brought that up is because I think it was last week or the week before.
You could probably use Oklahoma as an example.
Oh,
too.
Lord, we'll get there. Arkansas passed a bill that allows teachers to teach creationism as opposed to evolution as an alternative theory, quote, quote, because legislators don't know what a fucking theory is. That is a fun thing for you guys out there in the internet to know. Theory doesn't mean guess in science. If somebody tells you they have a theory about why your car doesn't work, and then a scientist says they have a theory about gravity, those two usages of the word theory are completely different, and it just not enough people understand that. I should make a proper long form video about that.
Probably
what a theory fucking is.
Maybe not a dumb fuck podcast.
Anything you hear on this, you should ignore.
Fact check. Just fact check it. It's
just
not,
ignore it.
No, fact check
turn
it.
it off.
Fact check
Turn
it.
it off.
He's trying to backpedal now. This is quality content.
But Arkansas passed a bill that allows people to teach creationism now in the classroom, and in the science room. That's what pisses me off. I don't care if you have like a religious studies class in a high school. I really don't. Honestly, I don't even care if it's like a section that's required. If you have like a humanities or a history course or like a world history thing and you cover world religions, I'm super down with that. You should know all these different things. The problem is that like the Christian majority in this country thinks that learning about anything else besides this religion is the devil. And so like I have teacher friends who teach history who have gotten in serious hot water because they taught the kids about Hinduism, and parents fucking came up to the school like, you're trying to teach my kids about Satan. It's like, no, we were covering India today and we talked about what a Hindu was. And like, well, that's not the Christian Babadoo. And here's the thing that's also a problem. I don't know how much this is in the rest of the country, but I know it's a problem here. Here in Oklahoma, we have a thing called See You at the Pole, which is in our public schools. The Christian kids, and only the Christian kids, get to gather up around the flagpole right before school starts, and the teachers are there, and they like lead the kids in prayers, and they have like worship music, and like I remember several times they had like a little band come out. Like it's a whole thing. It just flagrant disregard of the First Amendment of the Establishment Clause. But it's technically not during school hours, and it's technically a voluntary activity, and it's technically this and technically that, so they get away with it.
Well, my children have come home with like religious-leaning materials before, like Christian-leaning stuff. And I just kind of have to be like, nope.
Have you seen
nope.
The
Not necessarily.
The Satanic Temple got in on this. There was a school district, I forgot where it was. They were like passing out Bibles to all the kids. Like there was a Christian organization that just donated like 1 billion Bibles to the school, and they're like, give one to every child. And their school was like, I see no problem here, and so the Satanic Temple printed out these little booklets of Satan Loves You. And like it was like coloring pages and shit, and they distributed them to the school, and the school had to agree that they would never allow any religious materials to be distributed at all. Like it's so good. I think.
Yeah, I saw that. That was really cool.
I think that ever since that awesome fucking Lil Nas X video came out, I think the phrase "see you at the pole" has a different meaning now, and that LGBT folks and you know, especially LGBT folks, but really any non-religious person should start using "see you at the pole" as like a salutation, like when you're leaving, like that's your goodbye. All right, man, see you at the pole. See you later. And that's like we're all going to hell, and I don't care. I'll see you at the pole, man.
It's true. I just like, I don't know. We with this that just
Yeah, it's a good way to summarize it.
Like, it's so annoying because that does go on here a lot. Like, it's with the, like in the education system, I know for a fact that we had some history teachers that, like, whenever we were talking about like whenever it was let's see, world history in high school, probably it was like 9th or 10th grade, and we're talking about like Islam and it's getting its start, and fucking Buddhism and all this shit. And the teacher's like being really flippant about all these other religions starting and stuff, and saying weird shit about like that's not what we believe. And I'm like, well, I don't believe it,
any of it. So like,
yeah, so, but like, and that was, I mean, that happened a lot. So, and that's just to me. Yeah. So like, that's just how many times it happened to me was like enough. So I can't imagine what it's like it's like a continuous thing.
Well, it happens all the time. And like, that's, you're absolutely right. If it happens enough that it happened to you at all, and you're just one dude, it's probably rampant. That's a terrible way to do statistics, but there you go.
Yeah, if it happened to me one time, it must
happened
be
to everybody.
like happening like a lot.
But have you seen that
it
video?
happened to me a lot.
Yeah. Have you seen that there's not really a video, it's just a cell phone recording of the kid in a history class, and the teacher what?
Did you say it's not really a video, it's just a cell phone recording?
Well, it's like he turned the recording on, and then
is it a video recording?
It is a video, but it's of the inside of his pocket.
But it's like only audio.
Yeah.
Oh,
he just turned the video on. Yeah.
I see what you're saying now. Yeah. I was like, wait.
And it's this kid in a public school classroom. He's in a history class, and the history teacher is just laying into the kids about how they're all going to hell and how they have to accept Jesus into their heart and shit, and just doing a full-on sermon. And like, they brought this up to the school board. The school board's like, well, why'd you have your phone out in class? And we're like, that's not the point.
That's not even close to the point.
You missed it entirely. But that shit does happen all the time. And what sucks is, it's a really tricky issue, because the best teachers weave in their own personality to their teaching. You don't want a teacher who's just a trained monkey that's just going to sit up there and just spout off the lesson plan and then it's over. That you lose all the passion and interest in teaching. The kids aren't going to learn. They're not going to have fun. You want somebody up there who's going to like give some opinion. But there's a way to do that isn't just straight up preaching to the kid. You know what I mean?
Man, it's rough. Teaching is incredibly difficult. I don't know. Like,
that's astoundingly difficult.
As somebody who has children, like, fuck that.
Yeah. I've been doing it for years.
Yeah, I know. And you're always like, oh man, it's a great thing. I want to do it. And I'm like, why the fuck do you want to do it?
It's incredible.
Why do you want to be an educator?
Because freedom of thought.
Almost died saying that word. Why do you want to be an educator so bad? It's terrible.
Because so there's the way that you are educated.
The kids suck. The
shapes the way you see the world. And it is possible to educate people to see the world the way you want. And it is also possible to educate people to think critically about everything and to come to like, not, I don't want to use the term like come to their own conclusions, because that's, you know, a very loaded term, but like to be able to spot bullshit from a mile away and to make good decisions about their life that isn't just based on immediate wants and desires. And you know what I mean? Like there's a way to educate people that makes them rational, well-rounded thinking beings rather than automatons that just regurgitate whatever bullshit they've been taught because that's what they are told to do. You know what I mean?
How do you do that?
You encourage kids to ask good questions. You encourage them to ask all sorts of questions, and then you teach them what a good question is. A question that actually probes instead of just, nah, why is that? What's this? What do you like? You inspire them to continue learning. You show them what a good source is and like how to fact check somebody and themselves. You encourage them to challenge their most deep and sincere and sacred beliefs. Like that. The best way to educate is to teach someone how to educate themselves. And the reason why I love education, the reason why I love doing it is because education is elevation. It's empowerment. The more you know, the more you can do with your life. The more tools you have in your toolbox. The more things you can do that nobody else can do. And that gives you not only power, but also the ability to affect change and to help people. It gets you out of your own echo chamber and your own bubble. It makes you not just an asshole.
You've hit on that before with the you can do more things.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean by that exactly? Like, I need you to
If your
hone in on
car
it a little
breaks
bit.
down, who are you going to call to help?
A mechanic.
And a
That's
mechanic
like
has education in mechanics.
In mechanics,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
If that mechanic also had an education in cooking, who would you call if you needed, if you wanted delicious food? It'd be the same person. Who would you call if you
break, man?
right? Fix my car and
Okay.
then make me dinner.
Yeah.
Who are you going to call if you need to send a rocket into space? What if that dude just has a mechanical engineering degree and it's also in aerospace engineering and he can build a rocket too? Like, the more things you know, the more things you can do. And also...
But you can't be an expert in that many
No.
things.
That's I'm using a very, very loose
Okay,
example.
yeah, right. I just want to, I'm just trying to...
Right.
freaking-
But, when you learn more things, you can learn more things as well. It makes it easier to pick up more information. And so,
You learn how to learn.
Yeah. And so you inevitably end up absorbing information about different cultures, about different beliefs, about different economic doctrines, about different ideas. And when societal problems come up, you have a lot of resources to draw from. There was a study done a little while ago. Oh, excuse me. Burpish. There was a study done a little while ago that showed that people who read a lot of fiction books, like a lot of fantasies and stuff like that, they are way more empathetic, and they're able to think out of the box and come up with unique, novel solutions to problems because they read what's going on in other people's minds all the time. And so they're able to shape their mind in different ways and do different things. And that's the beautiful thing about education is that a mind is like a balloon. You can stretch it out, and then it can never really regain its proper former dimensions. Even if you take the air out of it, it's never quite the same. You know what I mean? And so the more you stretch and expand your mind, the easier it is to keep expanding it, and the more interesting and exciting it gets, and it never goes back.
Big old loose brain.
Big old loose floppy brain. That's what you want.
That's what you want.
And then you have some fucking conspiracy theorist out there who's like, and then your mind pops because you put too much science in it like a balloon. Don't take the metaphor that seriously. I'm just saying.
Fair enough. Everyone remember, if you learn too much science, your brain will pop like
You
a
learned it here
balloon.
first, folks.
They call it balloon brain.
But I'm not a classroom
And it's turning
educator.
the frogs gay.
It's turning the frogs gay. I'm not a classroom educator. I don't work with just one group of kids day in, day out all the time. That takes a lot more patience and talent and time than I have. I do informal education. I get in front of a stage. Maybe I'll visit a classroom for an hour, or maybe I'll have one class that visits me one day a week for a semester or something like that.
It is kind of crazy to think about being with a group of students for like a whole year.
You get to know them.
Or 2 years.
I get to know kids that I work with for a semester, and I care about those kids. I barely remember their names sometimes, but I care deeply about their well-being.
Well,
You know what I mean?
that's probably, if you didn't care at all, you might still be a good teacher. I don't know.
No. But here's an example of why I care about education.
No.
Is that so I'm a biologist, and I specialize in evolution, and I really love human evolution. And I was teaching at a Section 8 house complex here in Tulsa. We have a thing called Tulsa Housing Authority. It's Section 8 housing. If you're on government assistance, this is where you apply to go get a free house for a little while. And
Yeah,
They have these
like rental vouchers and stuff.
Yeah. They have this community center.
Have a voucher program here.
Yeah, we do. Yeah,
which is like not. It's not great, but at least there's something.
And it's a pile of shit. You have to do like regular like job checks and drug screenings and things like that.
Well, and the list is just so fucking long because there's so much poverty going around, and that's what people need to realize is like you wouldn't need these programs if you figured out how to get rid of the root.
Exactly. Instead of struggling to figure out like free housing, we could be struggling to make sure that like we have a livable wage system and like healthcare and jobs would be great. But anyway,
sorry, yeah,
you're fine. Yeah, each one of these has a community center, little rec room. And when I was working for a science museum for a little while, we would make regular visits out to these places, and we would do free science lessons for any kids who wanted to come out and learn some stuff. And what you taught very rarely mattered. The fact that you showed up really mattered because the kids saw that you gave a shit to show up. You know what I mean? That's what really they cared about.
Yeah.
And so I would go out there and I would blow stuff up. We might get through the lesson, we might not. We just have fun. Usually we just answer questions and just kind of pick their brains and like have some fun about talking about science. And this one time I was there and we had this big chemistry lesson set up. We didn't get through any of it because there were these 4 young little black boys that came over and were talking to me. And we talked about human evolution. And I told them that the very first humans were black. That's true.
Which is true.
We evolved in Africa. We lost our hair, our fur, all over our body well before we were this species. And we had black skin to block off extra UV light so that we would save the folate in our skin and we would have healthy babies. And I can go into that for a long time if you want.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of reasons.
It's so cool. And I told them this. I told them that the very first humans looked like you guys. And they lost their fucking minds and ran around that entire fucking complex telling every single person that would listen, the first humans look like me, the first people look like me. And they were so excited. And I was like,
just a lot of fun. That statement makes a lot of people fucking angry.
I was just happy to see them so excited. And then it clicked with me.
I don't know why.
Right? I was just happy to see them excited. But then it hit me that was probably like the first time that anyone has told them that they were special in any way. You know what I mean? These kids are impoverished. They're in this complex. They're, pretty dirty. The whole place around them is pretty dirty. They, if they get to go to school, like there were kids there that were like 9 and 10 years old that didn't know how to spell their name yet. Like these kids don't have a good education yet.
Shit happens.
They're growing up.
It's one of those places. Like,
yeah. And like that was probably the first good thing about them that they had learned.
Even if they go to school, like the schools out there, like where you're talking about,
they suck.
The schools don't get any fucking money
because we pay for our schools with money. Property tax. So if you live in a wealthy area, you pay a fuckload of property tax and all that money goes to benefit the school, and so you have a great school. And if you live in a very poor area with fucking Section 8 housing in it, you pay very little property tax, the school gets very little money, and it gets no help, and the teachers there have to scream and shout, and the desks are falling apart. I've been in schools where the desks literally were so broken that almost half the class was standing in the back of the room with clipboards. If you don't even feel welcome in the room, how are you going to learn? If you don't even have a place to sit down, you feel like a fucking stranger. How are you going to learn? And that's what I'm saying. Like that's why education is so important to me, because it's a life-changing thing. It opens up so many opportunities for you. It changes your outlook on the world. It makes you a better person. It makes you more interesting. It makes you more helpful. But the system that we have for it here is bananas, because it's the opposite of all those things. We talked about last week about radicalizing people by showing them how much the country really does hate them. I feel the same way with education. You want people to be inspired and love learning and try to make themselves better. What's the worst possible way to do that? Let's make education as uncomfortable and authoritarian as possible. And come on. That's one thing I have strong supporter of defunding the police. And people complain. They're like, oh, how are the police supposed to do their job with less money? Ask a teacher. They've got it figured out. You keep fucking taking money from them and expecting them to raise the bar. Put up or shut up.
Forrest gets very upset when we talk about people not funding the schools.
I'm pissed
Fund the
about it.
goddamn schools.
Give
for Forrest.
teachers what they need and then get the fuck out of their way.
They do, like, we went to an alternative school and we did, like, we saw, like, our I think our activities budget for that school for like 200 kids was like $1 per kid
It was insane.
for a year.
It was insane.
They had like a $200 activities budget for a school with like 200 or 300 kids.
Yeah, it was insane. And like we didn't get to do a lot of things, but we had teachers that really genuinely cared because they were working in
put a bunch of
alternative school.
fucking money in, and then also we did other shit like we did garage sales and stuff.
Yeah, we did fundraisers.
We did a lot of fundraisers.
You know what?
To get our fucking for our little field trips and stuff.
Speaking of fundraisers, you know what pisses me the fuck off?
Fundraisers.
Fundraisers. When they do those stupid, like, sell a bunch of... They give you the catalog full
You
of
might
fucking
get the
$70
bike or the
cheesecakes.
harmonica, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You get a fucking kid a catalog full of fucking $30 and $70 cheesecakes and have them go door to door in their own neighborhood full of other people who also have this same catalog for their kids
Yeah.
and beg people for money. And then if you raise this company $500, they'll give you a fucking little Game Boy knockoff drone creature
Yeah.
that cost them $30. And like, oh, you could win the fucking inflatable sock'em boppers and the light up earplugs. Oh, and you're teaching kids how to be shitty slave workers, making tiny, tiny bits of money for the labor that they put in. You're exploiting children. There should be a child labor law there. Honest to God, those companies make money hand over fist from the fucking children who are taking their... Because 80% of the kids don't sell shit. If you're like me, I threw the thing away every time because I knew it was a bullshit when I was in fucking 8th grade.
Yeah.
But the 3 kids who have rich-ass parents that take the catalog to their company and tell everybody fucking, we'll throw a company Christmas party if you all buy $5,000 worth of Little Jenny's fucking popcorn.
Little Jenny's pop.
Send her on the cruise. Oh,
I'll
it's
send
so
Jenny
fucking
on the
sick.
cruise.
And we have to do that shit because our governments simply will not fund education. And yet, we have a military budget that's bigger than the next fucking 9 countries combined. So, you tell me whether soldiers or scholars are more important for a healthy society.
See, but if
Clearly, I disagree with what our government
If
thinks.
you make education too good, then who's going to pay for private school?
We don't need private schools.
But then who's going to pay for
What we
the
really
private
don't need is
schools?
fucking charter schools.
Charter schools are dumb.
Charter schools can kiss my ass.
Charter schools are dumb. Well,
Because there's a few of them that are really, really great, but you can't
yeah,
escape.
but that's it.
But you
That's
can't
it.
escape
It's only
the
a
fact.
couple.
You can't escape the fact that no matter how good some of them are,
Most of
they
them are
don't
bad.
have the same standards as a regular school. They don't have to meet the same curriculum.
Yeah, no, like you and I can start a fucking charter school and make it like
And
the
do whatever
best,
we want.
the best school ever, or
We could do a charter school where we tell the kids that fucking squirrels control the weather and then
Yeah.
play ping pong all day and make money fucking hand over fist.
and that's the problem with charter schools.
Mm-hmm.
It's just,
is that either one of those things are equally okay.
yeah, like I tried to explain that to a friend before, and they were like, "What do you mean? Like, if you get?" They were like, "Well, people won't send their kids to the school, like the really bad schools."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
They will, though. Don't even give them the chance."
And what really fucking blows, and what really, it hurts to say, but it's the truth. Because I'm such a strong proponent of education. I'm such a strong, like, ally to educators. I want to be here for them. There is such a thing as a shitty teacher. And, like, you're going to have bad people in every single profession. I'm not trying to sugarcoat that. I get that. The problem is when you have a state like here in Oklahoma, which cuts funding. We are first in the nation for cuts to education. We cut funding over and over and over. And you can make more walking across the stage with your fucking bachelor's in education in Kansas than you can teaching here in Oklahoma with like 10 years of experience and a master's degree. So we're hemorrhaging teachers. Teachers move to Texas all the time. And to Texas and to Kansas and all the surrounding states. Texas fucking scalps teachers from here. There are billboards in Oklahoma talking about the salaries in Texas for teaching, for people to move and go teach in Texas.
Damn.
The state teacher of the year in Oklahoma moved to Texas to teach a couple of years back and was all over the news for it. And like, if you're doing that, good teachers aren't going to stick around. We have so many amazing teachers here in Oklahoma that care so much. And we also have a lot of people that this is just the fallback job. And they're just doing what they got to do to get by. We had a few of those teachers growing up.
Oh, I think so.
And like, that's the consequence
but we
of not
also
caring.
had a lot of really amazing teachers.
We did, and that's what I want to like. I don't want to say that any part of the problem is bad teachers. Yeah. Bad teachers are a symptom of the problem.
They do exist.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're a symptom of a government and a society that doesn't give a shit about education. Because when you don't care about what you're putting in there, you don't care about what kind of kids are coming out of there, you try to run the school like a business, which is the stupidest thing you can do.
That's what the Board of Education does, right? Like, is they basically run the school like a
business.
Yeah, it's a business. And they on one hand, they kind of have to because everything in America is run like a business.
Which is fucking dumb.
But it is the reality.
It is the reality.
So as dumb as it is, the school board has to run the school like a business.
But that's the thing, man. That's what pisses me off the most about it, I think, is that if, like, okay, so my fiance's family owns some snow cone stands, right? So that's just a business. I'm just using a business. Okay, so say any business. Say you own a snow cone stand, right?
I own a snow cone stand.
Okay, and your job is to make really good snow cones.
I mean, yeah.
They got to be light and fluffy and taste nice. Great, right? You make good snow cones. That's the whole business. If you order the flavored syrup from a company to make the snow cones, and it tastes really good, you make really good snow cones, life's good, everything's happy. If you get a shipment of syrup in, and it's fucking rotten, moldy, tastes like trash, this one's just pure sugar water, this one is, just fetid and awful, what do you do with it? You send it back, and you get a new shipment in. You don't get to do that with kids. You get them fucking poor, you get them under-medicated, you get them over-medicated, you get them abused, you get them molested, you get them having not slept for the past 2 nights, you get them not having eaten for the past 2 days. I've had a kid pass out in my class because he hadn't eaten anything in the past day and a half because his parents just decided not to feed him. I've had kids who showed up to my class every single day. There was a time where I was teaching the same group for like 2 months straight every single day. I had a kid show up, same clothes every single day because parents didn't change them. I've had kids show up fucking matted hair. Parents don't fucking brush it. Like I told you, I have kids who don't know how to spell their own fucking name. You get all sorts of kids and you have to make the same great product, which is a functional adult. Do that in any business. Get the box of fucking disgusting, rotten, nasty syrup and make a great snow cone out of it. I fucking dare you to keep your business alive that way. And then you go back and cut teacher funding and say, oh, well, clearly you guys don't need money for more fucking whiteboards and markers and school supplies, so just have the parents buy it. Have the parents buy every school here in Oklahoma. You get at Walmart. This fucking, let me tell you how bad the problem is.
Yeah, you do.
When school starts in Oklahoma, you walk into Walmart and they have fucking big stands all over it with papers all over the stands, like for you to take, and each one of the paper has a name of a different school in the area. So here's Wolf Creek, here's Arrowhead, here's Springville, whatever the fucking they are, and you find your school and pull it out, and it gives you the list of supplies that you need to go in and buy, because we don't give our schools fucking funding in Oklahoma, and so the parents are expected to buy enough paper and pencils and Kleenexes and markers and whatever else to supply the whole school, and everybody chips in and buys the thing. Do that in the poor community.
That sounds like communism.
Where people can't afford fucking bread and eggs.
That sounds like communism. Wait a minute.
It sounds like fucking horse shit. And it's insanity.
That's a socialist policy, bro.
It's so fucking stupid.
You have to go to Walmart and buy all the... No, but hey, for real, though, as somebody who has kids, it is pretty dumb. Like, we should be able to just fucking... First of all, like, where are the taxes going that are supposed to pay for all this?
That's what I'm saying. It's the fucking stupid-ass property tax system. It's the dumbest idea anyone's ever had.
Why aren't the taxes for education coming from, like, something else?
I think that we should switch it, and that the property taxes from the richest neighborhoods pay for the poorest schools. And within a fucking week, we'll get rid of that dumbass system, and it will be more like egalitarian and everybody will get the same funding and everything will be fine. And we won't have, go to this school down the road and you'll get a world-class fucking education with fancy new microscopes and shit. Or you can go to this school across the fucking street and there's no heat in the school.
They just signed a bill which technically benefits some people, but they just signed a bill, I know, here in Oklahoma where you can send your kid to any school now.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
Instead of...
people have gone to prison for lying about their address to get their kid into a better school.
So that's not a thing anymore. So I don't know when it takes effect, but Governor Stitt signed the bill. They said, so you don't have to... that's a thing. Just here, though, that's a state law.
That's still problematic.
That's what I'm saying.
Because now
other schools are just going to dry up, and then there'll be like 3 kids left in the shitty school, and then their school shuts down.
Exactly.
Which is technically, I don't know, like...
Well, then you have to bus kids in from across town to all go to the good school.
But that means
and then you're spending way more resources on that.
Yeah.
Plus, parents who can't afford to do that are stuck. It's still it's fucking elitist bullshit, where if you can afford a good education, you get a good life. And that's not fucking fair. These kids didn't choose where they were born or to whom they were born. They deserve a good education so that they can make their life whatever they want. How is that a fucking controversial concept? You know? You can't expect every fucking third grader to go pull himself up by his bootstraps and get a job.
They kind of do, though. Well, they expect it's up to their parents. They're like, oh, well, it sucks because their parents suck, but that's unfortunate for them. Look, America is very much fuck you, I have mine. I've got mine.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's the whole system.
Yep.
It's fuck you, I've got mine.
Yep.
I mean, that's the whole system.
In a nutshell.
In a nutshell.
Yeah, it is.
Fuck you, buddy. I don't know what to do about that.
What was that woman's name? She was on Full House, and she paid a bunch of money to bribe the universities to get her kids in there, and she cheated the rest of the day. Felicity Huffman, is that what it is? I don't know people's names. I don't know celebrities.
We'd have to Google it because I can't remember.
But that woman went to jail for that. She went to prison for that for a minute. She went to prison for a lot less time than poor black mothers who lie about their address to get their kids into a decent public school.
They've gone to jail for years over that shit.
Years and years, missing out on your kid's life because you tried to get them a good education.
Just because you tried to put them in a better school.
That's what gets me. It's not just that they're being punished; it's how they're being punished. You are now locked in a cage and you don't get to see your children anymore because you tried to give them a better education. You didn't stab anybody. You didn't fucking rob a bank. You didn't sell crack. You fucking gave your kids the best shot at getting a textbook that wasn't held together by fucking duct tape. And now you don't get to see them for years.
And that really, I don't know how you can defend America whenever we have that problem where there's actual schools where the books are outdated and falling apart and the supplies are falling. I don't know how you can defend
the textbooks in Oklahoma still don't mention 9/11 yet because they're that out of date. There are history books in this state. I held up, there's a biology textbook with these dolphins or orcas or some shit on it. I forgot what it was that one of my friends gave me. It was her high school biology textbook. She's my age. So she's in her 20s. She has her old high school biology textbook for whatever reason. She had it laying around. She probably stole it and didn't even think about it years and years and years ago. Anyway, she gave it to me. And I made a TikTok video about it. And kids on TikTok are saying, that's my textbook now. And it's at least 30 years old already. And that's what we got. I remember when we had the teacher walkout here in Oklahoma, and I was at the Capitol, and we're having this big rally.
Yeah, it was 2 years?
Yeah, it was in 2018.
So a little bit, so about 4 years.
Almost 3 years now, because it was cold as fuck, so I believe it was in the wintertime. We were... I was at the Capitol, and we're all out there rallying, and this girl in junior high, she was in 9th or 10th grade, gets up and holds up her history book, which is literally duct taped together. And it was the same. I recognized the mask on it. It was the same book that we used at the academy, at the alternative academy. It was the same fucking version of the history book. And she had one, and it was literally duct taped together to hold the spine. And she's like, this is my fucking book. How am I supposed to learn out of this? And it was our book, and it was old and shitty when we were there.
When we had it, yeah.
That's what your country's doing. That's really that's what we've got. That's the prioritization on education. And you expect people to take that and go out and learn something. The amount of times that I have spoken to college kids, because like one time, like Tulsa Community College hired me to come out and do a thing. And I talked like basic biology and blew people's minds because they hadn't had the chance to hear it in high school or anything else. Most 1,000 level courses in colleges here in Oklahoma are just teaching what you should have learned in goddamn middle school.
No,
and
yeah.
I've taken...
That's 100% true.
I took an entrance exam for medical school in India because I had one time during my undergrad, I had an advisor who came from India, and she showed me an entrance exam. Not even an exam when you're in college. An exam to see if you're smart enough to get into college.
Yeah.
And it was biomedical science. So I am a biologist. I have degrees in this shit. She gave me this exam. It was shit that I was struggling to learn now. On like the entrance exam. They're fucking beating us at that. They're just better at teaching science. And that's not the only thing that America sucks at by a long shot. But if you want to say that we're the best in the world, we're not the best at learning things. We're not the best at being smart. We're not the best at science. We're not the best at infant mortality.
I think we easily could be, though.
Several other countries care more about saving babies' lives, and so we put money into it. And if you're hearing this and your response is, well, what about abortion? You're fucking dumb because they're not comparable at all.
Also, the statistics, I don't think those are included together.
Mm-mm. Infant mortality and abortion, Jesus Christ.
They'd be like, well, if you account for abortion, infant mortality goes through the fucking roof.
That's all it is. Oh.
I'm
getting too salty. I'm very sleepy.
Well, it's true, though. What's true? It is. Well, it's just I know education is like your fucking like soft squishy part.
It's one of them, yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's really easy to poke you there, and you get upset because education is like your lifelong passion.
It's freedom.
Basically.
It's freedom.
You must have enough fuel units.
Yeah. Education is freedom, man.
Education is freedom units.
Go look at any dictatorship. Go look at Pol Pot. Go look at Hitler. Go look at Stalin. Go pick your psychopath. Pick one. What are the first thing they do? They go out and kill everybody with a fucking college education. Because if you are smart and you know how to think, you are good at questioning authority.
Yeah, you're gonna call out that bullshit.
Yes.
Which is a problem for any kind of regime like that.
That's why Donald Trump was very, very serious when he was up there and like, we're polling so well with the poorly educated. I love the poorly educated. And everyone cheered. Which
was weird. I didn't understand that. I still don't understand the cheering for the...
I love the poorly educated.
Yeah, I love the poorly educated, and people are like...
I also love the poorly educated. That's why I don't want them to be poorly educated anymore. I want to save them from that.
Jesus.
It's freedom.
It's freedom.
It's power. It's authority. It's agency. It's
I almost
everything.
Forgot that they used to actually teach us that like knowledge was power.
It is. Like in so many ways.
20 years ago, I feel like people said that a lot more. And now people kind of say other stuff like, I don't know, like just dumber shit. Alternative truths.
Alternative facts.
And things like that instead of knowledge is power.
Fucking kill me now. Alternative facts. Jesus of Christ land, man.
That was a rough time.
It was a very rough time.
It's still going on. It's never going to end. But anyway.
Did you hear? I was just talking about this earlier on today.
Shit.
Did you hear that a bunch of anti-vaxxers and anti-maskers now they believe that if you get the vaccine, you will do a thing called vaccine shedding, where you will radiate somehow. I don't know. I've heard people say that you'll give off proteins or you'll give off mRNA. None of those make any sense, but whatever. Things, just biology words that they don't know what it means.
Yeah, you're gonna shed your fucking coils.
And you just shed these things that can then go out and infect the non-vaccinated and cause them to be vaccinated. First of all,
what?
I wish that's how it fucking worked. But they believe that now we're going to be shedding these things that are going to go infect other people. And so a bunch of anti-vaxxers and anti-maskers and shit are now wearing masks and social distancing to protect themselves from the vaccinated. And I'm like,
no,
this isn't the road we wanted to take, but we got to the same location, we're good.
No,
the destination
is
the same.
No, that's not real.
It's real.
No, it's not.
It's fucking
no,
real.
It's not.
I dare you to look it up.
I'm not gonna look it up. We have to look it up off the air. That's not real.
All right, how much you want to bet? How much you want to bet?
I'm not betting. It's got to be a troll, dude.
It's several different people on their crazy fucking conspiracy theory live streams. This one lady was wearing, so they're all into fucking colloidal silver.
No, that's so bad for you.
And she was like,
it'll turn your skin blue.
I have a colloidal silver mask. And they kicked me off an airplane because I wouldn't put on the proper mask. Why do you think they kicked me off the airplane? Because I am the only one who won't get infected, and they want to put more people on this plane to get infected, so they kicked me off for spreading the truth that my
they always say that shit, and it's like, were you talking like this at the flight attendant?
I would have kicked you off
Yeah,
too.
because that's how you get kicked off the fucking plane, dude.
And so these people are all saying this shit. And they're now terrified.
No fucking
of
way.
People with vaccines.
Well, now I'm mad too. Way to go!
Here.
Good job,
ladies
now
and gentlemen.
I'm pissed off too.
55 minutes in, and we got here.
These people, I love the poorly educated. Fucking goddamn it, dude. Hold on.
Oh man,
what? This is real.
This is a real.
Do you watch conspiracy TikToks and shit to like find this stuff, or do you?
No, it was a Vice article that I was reading that talked about this, and I looked into it a bunch. It was crazy.
A Vice article?
It was a Vice article was talking about this shit. That's how I heard it first.
God damn. So it's really out there
because Vice, I'm pretty sure Vice is left leaning, but they're not like unfactual. They're not like fucking CNN where they're gonna make it make sense for however they want to. You know what I mean? They're more like fucking. What's a
what Vice is like? They're just when they go get a story, they just go get a story basically.
Yeah, they throw it out there.
They're more about like Vice is usually about going to like crazy places.
I get them confused
and interviewing crazy people.
CNN and MSNBC, I get switched up sometimes.
MSNBC is the one where the Rachel Maddow comes out and she's super left leaning.
Okay, so that's what I was talking about because MSNBC is like the Fox News for liberals.
Yes,
it's crazy.
Yes,
CNN is notably left leaning.
CNN, that's because CNN is like technically more moderate, but that seems radical right now.
Right. CNN is sensationalist more than it is insane liberal. Like that
and C-SPAN doesn't get anybody's attention because it's boring.
C-SPAN is the best.
But C-SPAN is the best because you're literally just watching them
C-SPAN
say the shit they're saying. You can just listen to the shit yourself.
C-SPAN is like NPR for TV. It's like it's terribly boring, but if you're into it, you like if you focus, you get a lot out of it.
It is very fun though to watch like the senators get up there and talk for 6 hours straight about God knows what.
Yeah.
Sometimes like it's really fun to listen to them angrily talk about like the fish transport system is not up to par, and you're like, what the fuck is a fish transport system?
Who gives half a damn?
And they're like, yeah, the crab launchers, and you're like, I didn't know the crab launchers aren't working.
That's why I don't think I could ever be a politician, honestly. As much as I think it would be a super cool thing for me to do.
You would just be filibustering shit for funsies.
No, I would be up there like I would be up there like, why in the fucking good goddamn are we talking about this dumbass fucking tax relief fucking bill
and then
when Fucking Flint still doesn't have clean water, you chodes.
Why are we talking about this dumb shit? This is dumb. Okay, I yield the remainder of my time to the senator from Oklahoma, Daniel Hendricks. And then I get up there and I'm like, yeah, so I was thinking, me and the boys were thinking, let's make time illegal. And you're like, Ben, please, Ben, we have real problems. And I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to solve the real problems. Think about it right now. Think about it. You're saying, I see you over there. I hear you. You're saying Flint doesn't have water. And they haven't had water for how long? Boom, no time? Doesn't matter.
What we need to do...
It doesn't matter.
What we need to do, guys, is we just need to start cutting off everybody's arms from birth. Just second you're out, you lose your arms. You can't commit crimes without arms. Gun violence goes down. How are you going to shoot without arms? Car crashes go down. You can't drive without arms. Fucking everything gets better without arms. My real question
with Flint is like, why can't they fix it some way just to fix it? Like, why is it still a fucking problem? Like, why?
My problem is that
why is the federal government not done something at this point?
The mayor of Flint and like the government or the governor of Michigan fucking came out and said publicly the water is fine, it's safe to drink, when they all knew it wasn't.
When it was like really bad.
When there were pictures on Facebook of it brown and fucking stinking, they were like, this is okay. No one trust what you're seeing. Just believe us.
Yeah, they were like, you can drink it, it's fine.
It's fine.
It's not fine.
And the same people that fucking defend that are the same people that are all pissed off saying, oh, this is the plandemic. This is the government's lying about the coronavirus. But when fucking people are actually up there saying, hey, keep giving us money and quit complaining and don't trust your eyes and ears, that's fucking fine. It's like last year during the fucking BLM protests in Portland when fucking federal agents with no name badges pulled up and they rented Enterprise vans, unmarked Enterprise vans, and would fucking just drive down the road and just grab protesters and throw them in the van and fucking drive off and just spirit them away and then fucking interrogate the shit out of them and then just throw them back out on the street. That got absolutely no attention from the motherfuckers with the don't tread on me flag and shit. Where the fuck are the conservatives in 2021?
Oh, they don't care.
My whole life, I grew up here in Oklahoma, and people have been telling me, the government's going to get too big. The government's going to fucking take all your freedom. We got to be ready to fight back. And then fucking BLM happens, and we have fucking protesters getting the shit kicked out of them. We have video of people in like full uniform army veterans getting the shit knocked out of them by fucking police for no reason. We have videos of police just shooting tear gas and pepper spray out of their cars to drive down the road. We have videos of police running people over for no fucking reason. We have videos of police shoving old men to the ground and busting their heads into the ground. We have videos of police kicking the shit out of kids. We have videos of police knocking people out of wheelchairs. Where in the fuck are the conservatives?
Well, they all made...
Where are you?
They all made excuses for every one of those things you just listed.
Jesus, just...
For the record.
I dare you to be consistent for 10 minutes and just fuck... It drives me up a fucking wall. Because, like, we've talked about this before, so I apologize for sounding like a broken record, but, like, I have a lot of problems with Joe Biden and his administration right now and what they're doing and what they're not doing. I would rather him be there than Trump. I think he's a lot better than all of our other options, except for Bernie. But like, or I think Warren would have done a fine job too.
Never gonna get no Bernie.
But like,
I wish we could, but it's not gonna happen.
I am able to criticize my government even when I like it, because I'm not in a fucking cult. See how easy that is?
I don't actually even like it.
I like myself sometimes, and I criticize the things that I do and try to get better.
I don't like myself at all.
I fucking like this country, but I criticize the things that it does.
You have to criticize anything for it to get better, and I don't see why.
Because
a
if you just blindly different. Exactly. If you
I don't
just
see why a
love
country
your country
is exempt from that idea. I never understood that logic at all.
And if your whole shit is fucking, well, you can just leave. Okay, so you agree that you should be able to leave your country when you don't like it. Kind of like all these fucking immigrants that you all fucking hate. They don't like their country.
No, they got to do it the right way, Forrest.
Oh, yeah, the way that takes several decades?
It might not
That's
happen
the one?
at all.
The one where we literally throw you in a goddamn cage like a kennel dog?
No, it's really easy for me to be like to see why somebody would risk going to jail to leave a horrible place where you... If your options are die... or risk your kids dying,
Even
or your family. You know, if those are your options, like if it like. How does it not make sense? If your options are to work in a fucking like in an industry that's like you're gonna die in, or you can never like it's like you have to fucking work on a plantation, fucking getting coke drugs and shit, and or anything. There's so many. Just coffee, just the way we get coffee. I love coffee. It kills people.
It literally
kills people. Like so like. Yeah, people are leaving places to come into our country because they know here you might not die a horrible like fucking death just to try to get a nickel. Maybe.
At least you won't be a slave here.
Yeah.
Unless you go to prison. Then slave labor is allowed again.
It's like the thing. And you've got to really like. People need to fucking stop thinking that like everybody who comes up from south of the border is coming from fucking Mexico.
Oh my god!
And you need to understand.
That kills me.
You need to understand.
There's a whole other continent there, dude.
Like if that many people are leaving that many different nations in an area, there's something wrong. Like,
and not even like the like you have Mexico as an example where you have like the police and the military in this crazy civil war, like in the drug cartels own one and the government owns it, a whole thing. I get that that's a thing. But just take all that out of the equation and you have the exact same argument. If you were in a dangerous situation and you had a family, is there any law that you wouldn't break besides fucking rape and murder to take care of your family? Because for me, there isn't. If I was in a scary, dangerous, shitty situation, I would break a lot of laws to make sure that my wife and my children were okay. Yeah. And I bet that any one of these fucking, I don't know what words to use, right-wing people that hate immigrants would do the same thing. These people, if they're breaking a law to come to this country illegally to save their family, you should be sympathetic of that because you do the same. And imagine, just for a second, imagine that the United States government is collapsing, that there's fucking civil war in the streets, that gangs are fucking running rampant. Yeah, you go to Canada.
I know it's hard to imagine.
Yeah, right. Imagine that shit's fucked here in Oklahoma, or in America, and so you try to get into Canada, and so Canada takes your children from you and locks them in a cage, and then sends you back here to America to die. Imagine how horrible that would be. That's what America does. That's us. And I don't give half a shit if Obama started it, if fucking Reagan started it, if fucking I don't give a shit because Obama did it and it was fucking evil. Trump ramped it up and it was fucking evil. Right now, Biden's allowing it to continue and it's fucking evil. It's evil no matter who did it. It's not a partisan issue. It's a humanitarian issue. We have lost thousands of children.
And they don't know where their parents are.
We have lost children.
They don't know where their parents are.
Reports came out
They're being sold.
Where we were drugging children. We were literally injecting kids with illegal drugs to make them go to sleep because the Border Patrol agents supervising them didn't want to put up with them. There has been rampant sexual abuse in these places. And then one time, Mike Pence went and visited this place and the reporters got to walk in and take pictures of him visiting. And they started to take pictures of the people in the cages saying, "Help, we haven't been fed in days." And they all got shoved out the fucking door in under a minute. Fuck
That's
anybody
sketchy,
who says this is even remotely okay. If you think that protecting American jobs and the economy and the fucking border security is more important than these children, it's men and women as well, but just especially the fucking thousands of kids that we have fucking abused and tortured and drugged and misplaced in this evil, corrupt fucking system. If you have any justification for that, fuck you. Unsubscribe from my channel. I don't want your fucking money.
They broke the law.
Oh, yeah, no, that means they're not human anymore, of course.
They broke the law.
They broke the law. That means that everything's okay. We can fucking treat them like the animals that they are now.
Well, that is how the law works.
Fuck that.
You're guilty until proven innocent.
In this country.
And you can go and fuck yourself.
As long as you're not white.
Even then, if you're in the wrong town.
If you're poor, yeah.
Yeah, if you don't have enough money, or like if you know.
Oh man, it's fucking sick. It's absolutely sick, and that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I can never be a politician, because I would be in there and we were like, oh, we gotta figure out this new bill to build a new bridge, and I'd be like, until we let children out of fucking cages,
yeah.
I'm not gonna stop screaming at you. Like that's what we're doing today, and if anybody says we're doing anything else today, I'm gonna hit them. I swear to God. Like that would be my job as a legislator.
To hit other legislators?
To punch legislators in their stupid Nazi faces if they don't fucking get the kid out of the cage before we fucking figure out what the fucking fishery license tax is going to be today.
You know, they're not Nazis, but they might as well be. And if you think that fucking the Holocaust didn't get done like with a bunch of paperwork, I think I've said this before, but it was like a lot of paperwork.
That's what I always tell people. And I think it was Martin Luther King who said it first. Never fucking forget that every single thing that Hitler did was legal.
Yeah, it was all signed into law.
Not one of it. Not one thing that he did. Not one of it. Not one fucking thing that happened during the entire Holocaust was an illegal action. Was a fucking crazy radical coup. It was all signed and stamped and sealed. There was bureaucracy from fucking start to finish.
That's how we know it all. I don't know why people don't understand the concept. Like, they think so many records were just like, fuck, they faked millions of documents.
There's that side of it.
It's so malicious. It's so meticulous.
There's that part of it, but what I'm saying is, don't fucking come at me with, well, it's the law. There have been bad laws, dipshit.
Yeah, it's totally
We need
possible.
to change the law or decide how to handle the law differently. Right. Just because it's the law doesn't mean that it's fucking right.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Slavery was the law for a while. Remember?
People are going to make the slippery slope argument, which is always, it's really easy to make. Slippery slopes, as much as I understand them, I think are also like very straw man-esque arguments.
Oh, they always are. It's the same thing as like when people were talking about gay marriage. They're like, well, if we let the gays get married, then we're going to be marrying horses next. It's
I forgot that people did that, so thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
We still go that far where it's like, people are like, yeah, like they're like, if you let gay people get married, then like, oh, what's next? People will be trying to marry kids. And then like people will go as far as to make up fake propaganda for like pedophile clubs and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And then there are like real pedophile clubs now. So, which they were there before. But most of the time when you see something that's like a pedophile club talking about it, it's usually a fake propaganda thing.
You keep using the term pedophile club.
They're clubs.
It's a hilarious term to me.
it is, right?
It's such a weird thing to say.
Yeah, no, because it'll be like dudes that are like, you know, like we should be allowed to love children, and it's like
fucking Mambla.
I don't think that's real. I don't think because you know what happens to people who openly say that.
That's the fucking damnable misery of it, is how real that shit is. That's why, like,
but the government.
That's one of the things, and I want to openly say that I understand, like, at face value how cringy this sounds. So, like, I know, okay? But, like, this last administration, and really not even just Trump and his dumb fucking cronies, just everything that's happened, especially in 2020, at this stage of my life, has completely just pulled the fucking veil of security away from me. Because I remember growing up and having a basic understanding that, like, the government can change and sometimes things fall apart and, like, sometimes somewhere out in the world bad things happen.
Will be okay.
But here in America, things are pretty stable. This last year especially has really cemented it. I grew up quite a bit. It showed me just how much things can go wrong. And things didn't even go as wrong as they could have. But it showed me...
No, the system actually worked really well.
For some parts, yeah.
Yeah.
But, like,
yeah.
It showed me just how quickly our world can end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because people are fucking crazy. And people can use power for horrible reasons. We were like... I felt like I was what's that quote? It's not the end of the world, but you can see it from here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, that's how I felt with this whole thing. And, like, it made me decide to step up my game and become the, like, I want to take Post as the last watch before the end of the world to make sure that shit doesn't go that far, you know? Because we got damn close to a lot of bad shit and that hadn't happened in 100 years. And, like, we got damn close, and I was not prepared for that to happen. And
how much preparation could you actually even have, though, man?
I'm not even talking about preparation. I'm talking about
you're
being
just
vocal.
you're just, I guess I get what you're saying. I was quiet a lot.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's why I started a lot of
I said a lot of things, too. I wasn't completely quiet.
Yeah.
And whenever I saw something I didn't like, I said, hey, that's fucking bullshit.
I had phases of being super political and outspoken, and then like, who cares? It just is what it is. And then, I'm going to speak about this.
I was never who cares. I just definitely got afraid.
Yeah.
In the last, like, there were moments whenever I was like, maybe I need to not talk for a little while.
Because people are going to fucking come back and lash
people,
out.
Yeah, because people are just too much right now. Like, they like, you can't even have a peaceful conversation with somebody anymore on certain. Sometimes.
That's why, like, that's fucking part of what Valkai means, man. It's to champion truth and unity, and to be a knight for hope and for humanity.
Change.
And to defy tyranny and pestilence and protect peace and innocence, and to prefer death to the abandonment of that post as the last watch before the end of the world. That's what Valkai means to me. That's why I picked it as a name.
You think the end is nigh?
I just think that the end very quickly could become nigh, and we need more people who are willing to see that this world is not safe. The systems that we have in place, we need to protect and make sure that they remain in place, because shit can fall apart.
Which systems are you talking about?
Democracy, for one.
Oh, well, we don't have a democracy.
We don't. We have a weird fucking representative thing, but like we also have a fuckload of corruption, and like
we have what I like to call a fun amount of corruption.
Just enough to keep it saucy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
chugging along.
That's why I've become a lot more outspoken this last year, and that's why I started the channels that I have, because I knew that, like, I know I'm just one dude. I don't think I'm gonna fucking go out and single-handedly save the world. I'm not trying to say that I'm fucking gonna go spark some crazy revolution but like, if everybody doesn't try, then nothing happens. And if enough of us just try to change a few people's minds and to just be a voice of reason and just try to spread a little bit of hope and a little bit of, you know what I mean? If enough of us do that, then things do get better. Won't be perfect. Won't ever be perfect. And I'll be forgotten long before things, you know what I mean? Like, even if I make the most incredible impact and I get every part of the message that I want out there, and I am just fucking... fucking being a statue building me or some shit that I don't want. You know what I mean? Like crazy shit. Like, even if it goes insanely well.
I'm going to build a statue of you.
Oh, please don't.
Yeah. I mean, don't worry. It's going to be like offensive as fuck.
Good. Even if all that shit happens, within a couple 100 years at most, that message will be so twisted and fucked up that people will need to throw it out and start a new one. So I don't expect to be some fucking messiah about this shit. I'm just saying that, like, I want to use the very little bit of time that I have to make everybody else's very little bit of time just a little bit better. And I feel like more people need to do that.
Is that
because
why
shit can go wrong.
You're going to become an educator?
That's why I educate.
You already are. Yeah, I guess you already. I said become, but you've already been educating for years.
Well, I'm trying to do it in a bigger way.
Bigger way?
For the past 8 years, I've been educating crowds of 1 to 1,000 people. Just, whoever.
That's a good amount.
Whoever will have me out to do a show.
That's a good amount.
Now we're coming close to 500,000 on TikTok. About to break 10,000 on the YouTubes.
See, and people want us to talk about science on here, but we're just bitching about education.
I do science for literally everything else. I would be happy to talk about science on here, but I would bore the shit out of you because you're not a scientist, so it would just be me talking at you.
I'm as much of a scientist as, like, Cletus down the road. I have an interest in it. Like, I like science enough that you could talk to me and I could pretend I'm not bored.
Right. You know? That's all that matters.
That's how I got through school. I'd be like, hey, tell me about the spider goat again. I like that part. Read from the big book of science again.
The big book of science.
We all came from monkeys, Ben.
The way evolution is taught in this state fucking kills me.
Yeah. I've had teachers like talk about evolution and like flippantly say like something about evolving from apes and then being like, but I don't believe that. And then they skip to the next part of the book. And I'm just like, that's not what it says in here. I just read it.
If you actually read the book,
I can read. And they'd be like, they would literally have a skip to the next page. And it's like, holy shit.
60% of high school biology teachers in public schools in America report downplaying evolution, teaching it half-assed just to get through it, or completely ignoring it.
Why? Did they say why?
There's a variety of reasons. Mainly
they
to avoid backlash from parents.
Yeah.
Or because they themselves don't want to teach it, they don't believe it. 60%.
So I should become a teacher just to teach evolution.
That's a big part of why I am one. Because that's the thing, is that like when I meet people like that, because I meet people all the time, they're like, it's all bullshit. One of my favorite things to do is just ask them some of the boneheaded, shitty questions. And I mean shitty, not like rude. Shitty as in like it's a stupid fucking question that I get asked about evolution. Why are there still monkeys if we came from monkeys? Ask if you meet somebody who's an evolution denier who thinks that it's all ask them that question. And if they're like, exactly, then they just don't understand evolution. It's not their fault. I'm not going to say they're a bad person. They don't know how, because that's a really fucking stupid and easy question. That is a question that anybody who understands evolution even a little bit should be able to laugh their way through answering very easily. And if they don't get it, if they can't answer that question, they shouldn't be fucking teaching it. That's like saying, I'm going to go teach about gravity. Okay, why do balloons float? Exactly, I have no idea. That's why gravity's bullshit. I'm going to go teach your kid about gravity. No, you're fucking not.
Yeah, no, please don't.
Do not teach my kid.
Please don't teach my child.
Imagine you had a fucking literature teacher. You have your fucking English teacher and say, like, today we're going to talk about Shakespeare. He didn't fucking exist. He's a myth. What?
But he might be.
He might be. You never were you there?
Were you there? Did you film
meet
it?
Shakespeare?
Did you fucking meet
What, you have a fucking photograph of him?
God damn. Yeah. So yeah.
And now we're right back to education. We have teachers who don't know the subject matter. That's why I didn't get, my first degree was in education, but I wanted to get a bachelor's in science education, specifically, but it required like 9 hours of lab sciences as opposed to like the 60 hours that I needed for the, God, I'm real burpish because I'm drinking this tea really fast and yelling. And as opposed to like the 60 hours of lab sciences that I needed for my actual science degree that I got instead. And that's why I got it. Because I was like, I want to be the best goddamn science communicator this world's ever seen. I can't do that if I don't have hands-on experience actually knowing and doing science. And like, I would love another education degree. I would love a more specific one. That would be cool. I don't have time to do that shit right now. But like, that's why I didn't do it, because I didn't want to get a bunch of experience and education in something that trying to teach something that I didn't know, that I didn't understand. And I would rather have somebody with that's one thing that like I can argue a little bit on both sides. Here in Oklahoma, we have emergency certification, where we don't have enough certified educators with a bachelor's degree in education, and then you get an education certificate. We don't have enough people to do that. So if you have a bachelor's degree in literally anything, I dare you to look this up if you're listening to me and you don't believe this. I dare you to look this up. If you have a bachelor's degree in literally anything, and you can pass the state GED test in a subject, you are now licensed to teach that subject in Oklahoma. And that's one thing.
Damn, I'm close.
Yeah, that's one thing.
I'm close to being a teacher.
That like,
holy shit! I just got to get my GED.
Yeah.
And then I went to college, but I didn't finish high school.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. I don't know how I did that. I still don't really understand what I did and how I got in there. But I went to college for like 2 semesters. Mm-hmm. No, maybe like 3. But anyway, I went once and then left for a while and then went back. So I can't remember exactly. But anyway. Like, and then I went and tried to get a GED once. So like I'm all over the place. Like I have no idea what I'm doing. But at some point I'm trying to go back to school and pursue some sort of degree. I just don't fucking know what in. And I keep thinking about education, but I'm not. I'm like because it would probably be early childhood would probably be the best fucking.
You know, work with babies.
Not babies. How early is early childhood? I mean like elementary school.
Well, early childhood would be. Because usually early childhood education is below kindergarten.
If I did education, I'd probably want to do it younger because one, like it's not like as daunting of a subject to learn everything you need to learn to teach younger kids, and then also I'm more interested in the idea of getting them to really want to. I got really close to the mic again. I'm more interested in getting kids to like really love education for the long haul.
Yeah.
And then sending them to somebody like you who can actually teach them even more.
Well, that's like
to be fair, like I'm more interested in being like, hey, school is cool, and then like really sell them on it, and then they just stick with it no matter what happens. You know?
Well, that's the thing. You can instill a lifelong love of learning in somebody, and that's important. Like I remember working with third graders one time. I was doing a class at an elementary school in Jinx, and there was this third grade class, and we got way the fuck off topic, and they asked me how stars worked. And we talked about stellar nucleosynthesis for 30 minutes.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we talked about stellar nucleosynthesis. I used those words with them to explain how it happened. We talked about it for 30 minutes. I guarantee not one of them remembers a single fucking word that I said. They don't remember how fucking astrophysics work. They don't remember what a proton-proton chain is. They don't remember how hydrogen becomes helium. They don't remember any of that. What they remember is they had a lot of fun learning. And there were answers to those big questions. Yeah. If they know those two things, they can learn, and they will learn for the rest of their lives. They'll go back and learn how to. They don't have to remember the words that I said. That's why I love over teaching. Like I taught last semester, I had a homeschool group that I met with for 10 weeks, and I did like intro to bio for them. And for 10 weeks, these are high school kids. We did biology, and I taught the best fucking most cool interesting shit that I could. And then at the end of the semester I was like, okay, I want to show you guys something, and I pulled out a little stack of books, the books that I've been teaching out of, and I was like, these were my college textbooks in this. They're entry level college textbooks that you just learned out of for a whole semester, and you got it. How does that make you feel? And they were like, I feel smart as fuck. Because we thought that we were struggling because it was high school. Like, no, you were struggling a little bit, but you learned it, and you did really well, and their tests were great. We did oral tests where I would just ask them to do call and answer because I didn't want to do written shit because those are fucking stupid. And, like, they were on point with stuff that I have seen, like, bachelor-level students have serious problems with. Because, number one, I didn't tell them it was hard. Because if you don't tell them it's hard, they think it's easy, and they believe it.
If you tell somebody something's hard, then it sets it in their mind that it's going to be difficult.
And number two, I taught them in a way that worked for them. And even the things that they forgot, I know they got good notes, but even the things that I know they don't remember, they now know they can go learn. Because they just learned something that was like 5 grades above their level, and they did it well. Yeah. Like that's you make somebody love learning, you don't have to try to teach them. You just exude knowledge to them, and it's great.
I didn't love learning until it was like almost too late, which is terrifying to me.
I had to learn that learning was about me. It was something that I'm doing for myself, and then I can do it to help the world. It wasn't a test that I'm trying to impress somebody else.
Yeah, like my fucking thank God. You know, but you know what I mean, like the expression.
It's a colloquialism.
Yeah, it's especially considering where I was raised.
I use the term blessing every now and then accidentally, and I'm like,
yeah,
so
and then you're
gross.
like, I hate myself.
It's so gross.
But like I'm glad that I had the fucking alternative school because up until then I was really like in a shell and I didn't really think like, oh, I can learn. I'd pretty much given up on myself as somebody with the ability to learn.
Yeah.
And even though I still didn't end up graduating with like a high school diploma from there, just being around those teachers that like had dealt with much worse situations than mine, even as bad as mine was, like helped me so much and built so much confidence that I was able to be like, okay, I can actually learn things.
Yeah.
Like I'm not like dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, you've just been taught poorly.
Yeah.
Like, I remember being in like 6th grade and they're like, here's this worksheet. We'll teach you how to do it next week. It's due tomorrow. And that was I remember being pissed and I was like, these teachers don't fucking care about me. No, I'm 1 out of 80 kids in the same fucking classroom. They can't worry about me right now.
Yeah, you're almost not even mad. You're just like, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're like,
and these teachers are stressed the fuck out. They're dealing with a million kids. They're in physical danger because the kids here are sometimes violent because they're also fucking stressed out and crazy. And they're getting paid less than a manager at a gas station. We have a popular gas station chain here in Oklahoma called Quick Trip. And there was a news report a couple of years ago that the managers at Quick Trip get paid better than a fucking public school teacher here in Oklahoma. And I always tell kids, like, I do think there are bad teachers out there, but don't you dare ever fucking disrespect your teacher in this state because they fucking must care about you. If they're putting up with this and they're getting paid like that, they fucking care. Like, treat them well.
They're just old and it's the only thing they know how to do.
Or it's the worst thing.
Although, to be fair, like, I used to think some of my teachers were mean. My opinion has evolved with a lot of them. Now I'm like, no, if they were putting up with like 20 other kids a day that acted like me, then I would be insane too.
Yeah.
And then a lot of them, it was like, you don't know what they're going through.
I've got frustrated with class before. I
had no idea what they're going through.
I had a second grade class that was so fucking riley and wild. I was trying to teach them about the science of light. I got hired by this school to come out and do a thing for them. And this second graders were just so crazy and off the wall. I had tried to get them to like just walk to the front of the room to do an activity and then walk back to their seats. And that took like 20 fucking minutes because they were just so crazy. And I was fucking mad. And I remember like feeling that way. And then I have to fucking sit back and be like, okay, it's not their fault. They've been at school all day. They're fucking riled up. They're bored. They're doing these things. I'm bringing my emotions from my other classes, from my office, from whatever else as well. Like there's so much going on here. It's just, I can confidently say I've never had a bad class in my life. I've had so many classes where I was frustrated, pissed off, angry, disrespected, disrespectful back, where I was at the end of my rope. I've grown over the past decade, you know? I've had bad like times, but each one of those classes, at least one of us learned something, even if it was how to be a better teacher. It was still a good class for that reason, you know? It's all about understanding. I remember that Mr. Rogers thing. You hear that when he was talking about his emotions, and he went and visited, he had a really hard day at work, and he went and visited his sister or whoever it was, somebody, and he saw these kids that are his family. I guess it was his nephews or something.
Yeah.
And they were playing with hoses, spraying water, and he made it very clear, do not spray with those hoses. I'm fucking pissed off now. And one of the kids was really testing the limits, like spraying close to him. And he was like, all right, that's it. You've had it. You're done. Turn the hose off and go inside and like punish this kid for being disrespectful. And the more he thought about that, the more he felt sad and realized that like he had just come into their space with his anger and ruined their fun. And he called and apologized. And the kid said, everybody makes mistakes. It's okay. And he said that he gave me this gift of his forgiveness. And like, that's such a fucking important lesson for every adult, that you fucking have big feelings too, and you got to deal with them. You know what I mean? Like that's one of the best things about being a teacher, is that you remember that like you are on this pedestal, but you're fucking not special, and you got to remember that you're a human too, and work with these kids, and they're humans too, and we got to find a way to grow together. And that's another great thing that you get out of educating and being educated, is just learning how to handle yourself, you know?
Fuck them kids. In the podcast.
I was about to say, we're actually at time, and that's perfect.
I know.
The best way to end it. And with that, fuck them kids.
Well, I think it took us a long time to get there.
But fuck them kids.
But fuck them kids. No, but really, I think once we kind of honed in on a topic there, it turned out okay.
It went okay. It went very well.
We went all over the place a little bit, but we kind of stayed in one area, which is new. Usually we talk about like 5 things. We only talked about like 2 things though. We talked about education, politics, and then we backtracked
to education. Yeah. We did good.
And I think I decided I'm going to try to become a teacher. I don't know.
Genuinely, if I ever am doing a class and I like want to bring in a guest and you were free.
Oh, I've gone with you before to certain things.
You have helped me out before, but I'm saying if you were ever seriously interested, I will let me know, and I will bring you along for a thing and give you some time to have fun.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this week. I think this is episode 6.
Yes,
now.
it is episode 6.
Thanks so much for tuning in to episode 6. If you've tuned into all of them, why? And if this is your first time, it's never too late to unsubscribe. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Forrest.